vehicles at all while we're in here. What's going to happen is, I actually need to show Amanda more about her device. I'm going to keep her behind. The rest of you are going to move very slowly around here, and I'll be bouncing around, do 2 round robins, and then we'll regroup so I can give you all of the answers to whatever we didn't get and show you how it all matches up. So
we're just going to walk around slowly.
You got it. You're going to unmute, but you're going to be listening in at the same time. Again, camera work is always the most exciting, but that's why I did that for your one.
This is just about.
Got it.
I like it.
Yeah, I'm going to catch up.
Hey,
with you.
that's too good.
Like 3.3,
I like it.
7, what happened? When did it happen? 1. Got it.
Are we sure this isn't in backwards?
I'm sure. Why? I put it in the other one I did, the way the other one did. You get anything? You get anything?
I'm getting a lot of like stuff,
Static?
but they're not answering my question.
Ask basic questions. Try to get something, right? Just to see if someone's here. What?
I said, Eliza, is there anyone here? What happened to you? And it said, drink the water.
Poison? I don't know, but I don't want to be disrespectful. Maybe you can ask. I mean, it's a kind of full sentence. Drink the water.
it doing anything?
Right now it's a black screen. Here, hold on. Ask her if we take a picture of her. Well, what's that?
It was supposed to be a picture of you.
I let it load more.
Wait, hold on. You just showed me. I turned this to clear the words or letters.
Yep. Turn it down to 6. Counterclockwise. Counterclockwise. There you go. And then back up to
All the way up. Okay. All the way up? All the way up?
9 o'clock. From 6 to 9. 4 or 5. And as far as the readings go, we had a 3.3, and a 5.0, and a 7. What were the other ones you had, Chris? Wow, okay. Whatever you can make out. Words. Anything. Yep, so if you can understand the song here, I don't care that Robert Plant was singing, I want to know that he was singing Carter Stairway to Heaven. I want to know what the lyric was that came out. Does that make sense? So, anything is worth it. And just like I explained, listen, people ain't going to get direct answer to your question. Hey, what happens to the answer? People are asking about your death, they're asking about your children. You might get something that's related to it. That's why I like to use so much devices.
Can you come in front of my camera?
So if you get the hang of that, nice and slow. You got yours, nice and slow. Good, good, good. Camera's on the left, and you got yours. Looks like a square on the front. It's not a full circle. You can't see it.
Oh,
Yep,
sorry,
you're good.
square,
You're
yeah.
good.
Sorry.
Just wanted to make sure. You don't need to pay attention to the timer on this one either. Sometimes like you'll be able to put the flip on it and put it back, and the timer goes a little wonky, so you don't need to pay attention. As long as it's a square. So is this what you guys thought you signed up for?
Yeah.
Very good. Lots and lots of questions out of this group tonight. Sydney, you doing okay? She's like, I'm focused. I got this.
Get anything else? Get anything else?
Keep getting Charleston, so I don't know if she was buried in Charleston. I got burned, so I wonder if something burned.
Maybe that's how
Tina, you got
why
anything
the
else?
house not there.
I got burned.
Okay.
I got, I keep getting Charleston over and over,
Yeah,
but that's not
I ignore
surprising
those.
because we're in Charleston.
Right, I ignore all those.
And I'm thinking that I heard Washington, but I'm not positive.
Okay.
But burned, I definitely heard.
Yeah. Leslie, you got anything now?
Is that one cool? Is that one cool? Is that cool? Seems pretty cool.
Kind of. You just have to keep listening because it's just scanning radio stations. So you hear like a word and then you hear a word and then sometimes you'll hear like just the beat of like a song. So you're listening for the words.
Of this, like, that's within the song.
Yeah. And if you go walk too fast, it's just static.
Depending on the frequency, it's going to sound out.
I think I get something, but then I think it's like this reflecting off of that.
It is right there.
Go back to exactly.
Over here? Oh, here it is.
Oh.
Oh, that's him.
So here's what I'm going to tell you. This camera works off of depth perception. It's going to pick up your shadow because there's no light. So there's probably your first shadow that you caught.
She said it was getting right next to me. I was like, why is it moving like that? Well, nothing else is moving. Right. We weren't moving. Remember, it was really because it was just like moving on. And we were just doing
Eliza, are you here?
Look at ours going on.
What president came to your funeral?
We actually had their doors locked a few nights ago, and somebody asked why they were still there.
What do you think, Sheryl? It looks like it has arms, and when you went over there, this right thing was President. Yeah. Well, I know that's what I did earlier. I was like, what do you think now? She said, I see you, and it's next to you. Stand in front of the sign, Sheryl, to heaven. I don't see you at all. She doesn't exist.
Are you the ghost? Yeah, they're not thinking.
Still there?
It is there. It is
It's there,
dancing
but
on
you're
it.
not.
You're not there. This is something.
Oh, it says gold. Dang it. Gold? Why is this gold? Oh,
What's that like? Keep showing up the tree, maybe
on the other side. Yeah. Well, the reason I walked down there because I was like,
Did he say what her husband did? Like for a living?
I don't think
it
so.
wouldn't have appendage.
What if he was a doctor?
Yeah, let's move here. What if you move down?
Why is that something you got?
Or what if you even move
What did
away?
it say?
Because I just keep getting like doctor.
Say something.
It has.
No, I want the cursor to move slower.
Yeah, but it hasn't. Like it's been doing that since we got over here.
That is crazy.
To me, if it were picking up the post, it would probably pick up the top of the post up there as a point of reference for
And it has appendages. That's what I'm saying. It has like 2 clear legs and 2 clear arms.
And she said when I was standing, she was saying when I stood there next to it earlier, she saw me and
Can you tell me when I'm close to it?
Yeah, I can see you now.
It's like the column, basically. Like,
Yep.
what did that sign?
Now it's gone. Oh, now it's
She's
there.
gone.
She's gone.
Right there.
I'm gonna go to the right side of it to see.
Ooh, did you see that?
I did.
Ooh, that looked like almost a head or something coming out.
A shadow right here. Hey, everybody come to this side of her.
Well, I see you.
Well, because if there was a shadow there on this column.
I'm pretty far off to the left.
Well, no, they are now, but if they weren't
See, I can
earlier.
see you, but he's
okay,
oh,
so
there
see,
it is.
well, no, that's me because I walked
When
back
you
over
came down, when you came down, it went dark.
I think it's the shadow.
Is
Yeah.
it the shadow?
It's
Yeah.
no, it's right on the post.
It's
Whatever
right on the
she's
post.
finding, like there are shadows off to the left.
I picked up the shadows on another one, but this is not that.
And that shadow doesn't have a penny. Or that.
So the lake thing, yeah.
Huh?
And now it's all jumping again. It was right.
Look how it gets dark. Somebody was over there. Look. There she is. It's not, look, it's dark now. Nothing changed. I haven't moved it. That's her. It's not there. Look at her. Oh, oh. He did it again. That was weird. See if it comes back.
Hey, do that again.
Wait,
Melissa.
wait. No.
Huh?
Watch.
Go back.
Hang on. It's double.
I see it.
It's
Oh my god.
right. It's
Actually,
checking her
her
out.
hands aren't even doing it.
Whoever's there is checking her out. Watch it double up. Can you face us, Melissa?
Don't move that fast.
Yeah.
Put your arms out to your
Mom.
side.
No.
Oh, she was moving and it was doing different. Well, that's her. Oh my god,
No,
it's still
but look.
moving!
It just lit up a little bit. Oh,
There.
I can see her.
Double. And then try to separate.
Let's stop the footage here, just to make sure we don't lose it. And I say time to pull everybody together.
Okay.
Oh, there you are, Mike. Have you heard anything?
Two phrases
What are they?
that I understood. One said cash back,
Okay.
the other one said that makes me nervous.
Cashback
That I clearly understood.
Can we turn this one off?
Alright, go ahead and stop. It's not even connected.
Fine, they're still.
I brought my some down all the way down at the end of the alley.
I got excited when I got numbers. That's the first time I've gotten numbers.
Well, I'm also looking at that as April 6th of 1721. The reason why that's exciting to me in the slightest is because one of the women that we're about to talk about died in April of 1721. I just don't know the exact date. I'm gonna have
Wouldn't
to
it be crazy if it was the 6th?
No.
Once you make it.
Smell the death.
Probably picking up the different leaves that are in front of mine. You're on the right track. Did we have anything else going on that we kind of wandered off a little bit? Melissa, did you have
Should I turn
something?
this off?
Yeah, just until we get it to the next phase.
I have it on here.
You can unmute now until I start talking again. See what you get out of it. With that 4621. Yeah, it's supposed to be great stuff.
Oh, yeah, that was very clear. Sometimes I'm like, oh, maybe even that was very clear.
Yeah, I don't know why I don't know. I want to say it's like the 21st. There's no 21st of that year. But when I look at that,
Right. The love story came through very clear too. That could have been referring to the husband and the wife.
the fiancés,
Yeah.
they weren't married yet. They never did get married.
It could have been referring to that though.
But you heard of it, all the buildings different colors. Do you know why the buildings are different colors?
The gunpowder, right?
If you sent them to that,
Gunpowder magazine.
I got two runs.
The wispy one?
Something pretty big.
Mom, where's the Polaroid pictures? Can I have the wispy one, please?
Alright. Anything coming up now?
It said urgent demand.
Urgent demand. You had corrupt. Melissa, anything? We gotta get you. Somebody's gotta help you out in this location. Mike?
On the way walking over, I heard help me.
Help me.
What is your reading?
Oh, wow.
My like whole static and everything just changed.
Look at
to,
that.
Like a whole different frequencies down there.
So EMF in this location is usually pretty absent. That's the weird
Okay.
thing. Like he normally will not have a whole lot of high readings in this
Like
location at all.
before it was very staticky. Now it's almost like synthesized sounding.
I've been a zero the whole way in here.
And what are you now?
Still zero.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I usually, before I spread you guys out in this location, I usually say don't expect a whole lot of high EMF unless you're near the electrical poles, which that's expected. That's easily debunked. It's usually on the back half, where if we get something, I'm excited about it. So welcome to the Gunpowder Magazine. That's the building with the crosses on it. Those are not crosses on that building. Those are earthquake bolts. So if you're not familiar with what earthquake bolts are, because you haven't taken a tour in Charleston yet, they're turnbuckles. So if you turn them after an earthquake, it's supposed to tighten the building back up so it doesn't incur any further damage. So it's a great idea. It just doesn't work. The only reason I bring these up is because that's part of the reason why we're here. Those earthquake bolts are the first set that Charleston ever put in. Why? Because that's the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713. Oh, something just came out of there. So we're here because this building is what I call a familiar. For those of you that watch the TV shows, you see where they use a teddy bear type mentality to attract a child ghost. It's the same type of mentality. We don't have many buildings this old. This is something that Aunt Bonnie would actually recognize because it was being constructed at the same time she was coming here. So let's kind of get into her crazy history. If you wouldn't mind, go ahead and mute that for me so I can. This is a long history. I want to kind of breeze through it so you guys can get back to work.
734 mean anything?
I don't know, but remember that number so I can write it down.
Yeah. Give it birth.
I'll write it down. So 734. So 1708, right in the middle of this building's construction. I say in the middle of it because the building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government? Small building, 10 years? No, not at all. So 1708, venture with me because there's a lot of twists, so try to follow me. A young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormack. She comes here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Are you with me so far? Okay, the three of them are running away from her father's angry wife. How pissed was she that they had to leave the country by boat because there's no planes and come here? They land in Georgetown. It's between us and Myrtle Beach for those of you that are not from here. So Dad bought a plantation. Mom died pretty quickly. That means he's sending young Anne down here to sell things from the plantation to help keep things afloat. So hence why we're here, the familiar building. Now, back in Ireland, Anne was said to be a badass even back then. They say at the age of 7, 8, 9 years old, remember it's pirate lore, that she killed a servant with a knife to the belly. We have had the terms servant, knife, and belly show up on 3 different communication devices all in one night without the other people knowing what else came up. So kind of keep that in mind. Fast forward, the building's done in 13, but pirates are starting to come through Charlestown in 1715. Anne is stoked. Why? She's going to fall in love so she can earn her freedom, just like a man. It's a man's world at this point. So, first guy she falls in love with, and I said first because there is a handful, and we're going to go through every one of them. First guy is James Bonny. You already see where this one's going because you already know her pirate name. So, Dad didn't approve because he's a filthy pirate. They run away to Jamaica, get married, and Cormac is now Anne Bonny. So that's where the pirate name comes from. However, James Bonny is not Captain Jack Sparrow like what she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer. He's a spy for the British. He's a coward in her eyes. This is not who she wants. She falls in love again a few years later. Guy number 2. John Rackham. They call him Calico Jack. This is the guy they based your Johnny Depp character off of, in case you were wondering who the hell this guy actually is. So, Jack has his own ship and his own crew. You can't put a girl on a pirate crew because it's bad luck. So I would normally throw that question out there of like why you can't put a girl on a pirate crew, but we get a lot of really raunchy answers out of that. So we're going to stick with it's bad luck. So he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and look like my crew, you could be part of it. She's okay with this because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to hide her from his wife. She gets it. It's a man's world. But she's a female in his quarters. Let's put 2 and 2 together. She's eventually going to get pregnant, and you cannot have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl. Then they're going to vote Jack off as captain. So he drops her off in Cuba before she starts to show her pregnancy. Have the baby here. These are friends of mine. They'll help you out. Come back later and we'll figure it out. She goes and has the baby, returns with no child. I have no idea what happened to this baby, by the way. None of my research has ever found it. But she comes back dressed like a female. This makes Jack pretty angry. Like, everybody's going to know he let a girl on a ship. But while she was gone giving birth to his baby, he captured another pirate crew. They're down below deck. She's going to go flirting because that's who Anne is. She's going to make him even more mad. Guy number 3. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy, to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack captured. You got that one? I seen that.
Still trying process.
She was,
a lot of rounds.
She was flirting with a female that was pretending to be a guy.
Right, yeah.
So, this young lady's name was Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. So now we have 2 females dressed like males. It was not a lie. She was lying. She was lying. So, she becomes friends with this woman, possibly lovers. We're never going to really know for sure. But the British find out where they are. They send an entire fleet of ships after them after one measly pirate ship. The rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with 1 bullet flintlocks, probably because they didn't know how to use cannons yet, because the other pirates were too drunk to come up and fight. Obviously, 2 ladies with flintlocks are not going to take on a whole fleet of ships. They get arrested, and as they're being arrested, Anne looks at her captain, her beau, Calico Jack. She says, Jack, I'm sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog. The word dog shows up here a lot. The judge wants to see the 2 quote-unquote men that fought back so valiantly on their own. Calico Jack and the drunk pirates are already dead and gone. They're already hung. So Anne and Mary go in front. They reveal their gender, hoping to save themselves. He doesn't give a shit that they're female. He's still going to hang them because they're pirates. We plead our bellies was the last thing they shouted, because you cannot hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. He sends them both back to jail, delays the hanging. Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails her out, brings her home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4, because we're going to count Mary. We don't really know. She has 4 kids, dies at the age of 84. Very abrupt ending, I know. We don't know much about her after her pirate career. Mary Reed died a few months later, which we had the 4621 that came up out of Tia's device. That could very well be the exact date of when Mary Reed died. So, I know it's in April of 1721. I just don't know the exact date of the day itself. So I'm going to have to dive into it. I did write the numbers down. But again, I know it's definitely in April of 1721, so I was excited about her 4621 that showed up. The 734, I have no idea. And you're all looking at me like, how the hell does he remember all these damn numbers? So, I only left out a few questions in here. This is a place where you can poke the bear a little bit. This is not a prominent English woman like Eliza Pinckney. The only things I left out of here are the names of her and his mistress. I left out the name of Calico Jack's ship, so you can ask about that. The name of the city where Anne grew up in Ireland, or the color of her hair. That's a simple one. It's red. So I'm going to give you that one. Because again, sometimes we struggle with spirit boxes, and you guys need a little bit of a pick-me-up. But it happens. So again, it's a nightly thing for me. But yeah, those other things, anything else you want to ask, go for it. Again, this is not a prominent English woman. She's a pirate. So again, with your particular device, I'm excited more so about any readings on this back half of the lot. Again, I would rather you focus on the spirit box in this location. Definitely want to get some footage in here with all 3 cameras. Spirit box is up and running. Other tours like to cut through here. We don't film them. If they happen to stop, just go in the opposite direction. You guys get the point. And then I'm going to do a few round robins to see what we got going on here, and then we'll go up to that wall and we'll kind of wrap things up and see what we got going on. So let's have some fun. Let's get these devices up and running. Before I reveal all the answers and show you what's actually come out of this, I will tell you things have gone weird with cameras in this location. Obviously, we already talked about yours, like that was a pretty cool anomaly. But I think we've already talked about Sheryl's as well, with a weird anomaly showing up on the thermal imaging camera, and the spirit box stopped working.
Does anybody want to see the Polaroids that hasn't seen them?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, pass them around. Let everybody see them while I'm talking.
I've only got 3. Did you only hand me 3 back?
As far as the infrared that Sydney's using, the largest orb I've ever caught has been from exactly where I'm standing right now. And when I say large orb, it was in motion, and it was bigger than my head, coming in frame towards me. It stops, it turns, and then goes up and dissipates in frame. So when you guys get your data back tomorrow morning, I did write a field guide, so that way in case you didn't have a specific type of camera or a spirit box, it shows you how to go through your media, and there's examples, and that orb is one of those examples, so you guys can all see it tomorrow. This is also one of the reasons why I give that heated warning at the top of the tour. About a year ago, this past September, I brought my entire team to the back, just like where we were. It's probably 7, 8, 9, 10 people. And the kid next to me, he goes white as a ghost, and he's starting to drop. Like he's gonna pass out and faint. So I picked him up by his armpit so he didn't hit it. Better, and I then told them the story of Anne Bonny that I told you. This used to be my last stop. We still have one more to go, but I spread everybody out. Go have fun. This is your final hurrah, right? So these two guys pull me aside and say, Nick, we got to tell you, we are 2 transgender males. I had 2 females dressed like males on the tour, just like Anne and Mary in the story.
Oh wow.
This is the weird shit that I see that I can't always explain. Just like the 300 bit of why I came here for the first time. So again, that's why I give that heated warning. With this particular space, with all of the weird EMF things that have gone on, whether it's a lack of or cameras going funny, I have had females walk into this space and they can't even like come into it. Like they come up to it and their heart is just pounding. So again, it's a weird space. But we do have a few clues tonight that I think are actually relevant. We did get the word England on the word list. We did get a possible exact date to Mary Read. With her death date, she was considered an English pirate. So we have 2 references that are vaguely close, so I want to see how that actually ties together. And the name Bill, which would have been Anne Bonny's father, William. So let me give you all the answers of what we're actually looking at here.
I had a Jackson, but I was like, that's not an Irish name.
No, but we did have Calico Jack. So, one of the few pictures of Anne Bonny you can find with a shirt on. The reason why is because she used to bare a breast to show men that they were just killed by a woman. Told you she was a badass. So I get a lot of teenage boys on this tour. I don't need angry moms. So the names of her parents, William Cormac, Mary Brennan. So this was not another subliminal trick. We just happen to have 2 different Marys in the story. So Mary Read from the ship. Mary Brennan was a servant for the Cormac family. That's a whole nother 30-minute scandal we're not covering. It's just we wanted to get an answer out of Anne. But we do have the name Bill. Do I know that Bill would have been used in the 1700s? I don't. It might be something I dive into a little bit further just to verify. But again, the name Bill coming through is not, to me, irrelevant. I also like to show you what Calico Jack looked like, because everybody wants to see what they based Johnny Depp off of, right? Calico Jack was named that because of the jackets that he wore. They came from British captains that he killed. So, his father was a tailor, so fancy textiles were very important to him. Calico Jack basically translates to fancy jacket. That's where the name comes from. The name of his ship was called the Kingston. I don't expect the word Kingston to come through your 2 spirit boxes, maybe Mike's. Reason why, he picks up more disembodied voices more so than yours would. The word king would actually suffice on any other device. This is where we have to kind of use our technology to see what's going on, what kind of message are they trying to portray. What color is a big red barn? Blood. You're getting my point. So the word Kingston isn't going to come through on a red spirit box for sure. Maybe yours. One of the first nights we used Mike's spirit box, again, most accurate one I have, again, used to be last stop. The person handing it back to me as I'm packing it up, it was a light night, by the way. Pirate, plain as day. Now, that device doesn't record, but the person with the thermal imaging camera was still running, same way Sheryl is right now. So we actually had the audio from that. I'm a guy who studied words in English for 6 to 8 years. I can't remember how long I was in damn college. But you get my point. I know that it wasn't part of Pittsburgh Pirates won the game. It was, I'm a pirate. Like, it was hardcore. Like, oh shit. So again, very cool stuff. This is a weird space. The next space we're going to go to, we're going to have a little fun with Tia. She doesn't know it yet, but we're going to have a lot of fun with Tia. Yeah, so here's what's going to happen.
So excited.
For those of you that watch TV shows, you've probably heard or seen of the Estes method. Basically what this is, it's a sensory deprivation test. We're going to blindfold Tia and put noise-canceling headphones on her and see how she does with the spirit box. Now, the weird thing about this is that she is not going to know the history that the rest of you are going to know. So the 2 of you are going to sit out. So you 2 are not going to know the history. The rest of us will. So that way, when we're talking to you, as if you're the ghost that we're trying to hunt down, you're going to tell us every little thing that you're hearing. Which is why I always, when somebody else has a spirit box, I can do doubles, but you really struggled with it by itself. So that's why I went with it. We're going to make sure we get some answers at all. So with yours, you're not going to know anything about the space. You 2 are going to sit on a bench while I give them a very quick 5-minute history of the location of who we're hunting down. And then we're going to record everything so you can watch it tomorrow. So, so this is a lot of fun. It can go either really well or really bad. So and when I say bad, I just mean no answers whatsoever. I've seen other nights where we've literally had 10 to 15 answers answered in a 10-minute period. Like direct answers, stuff we can't make up. And they're direct. So this is a lot of fun.
They're talking to me, so
yeah.
I have a lot of stuff that's been coming up actually.
What do you got?
Lead, embark, quick, dead.
Embark?
Or died.
And bark is definitely a good term for pirates.
I agree.
But died is too vague. Everybody we're talking to is dead. So, so death and depravity usually isn't a big thing for me, because that's who we're all talking about. We're going to be walking 2.5 blocks to get to Washington Park. By the way, where did everybody park?
We Ubered.
We walked.
You walked from where? Which area?
East Bay.
East Bay.
Yes. 195.
Okay, so you're going to be going straight down by the Venue, I take it?
Yes.
Okay.
We parked right in front of that big John.
Okay, so I just kind of have to get you guys back, because we don't end where we started, obviously. It's literally, we're only like 5 to 6 minutes away from where we started, but we're about to go 5 to 6 minutes more, just so you guys know. For those of you with cameras, we don't need a Blair Witch Project, so kind of give your arms a break. Again, we're going 2.5 blocks. We will be passing by Circular Church if you want to get footage of that. I'm just not going to stop pace. There is said to be a Civil War ghost inside that cemetery. I don't have any proof or evidence of it from anybody ever getting footage from there, or from me, recording any of my own things there. So if you want to take pictures of it, again, just try to keep up, because I want to get us to our last space so we can blindfold Tia. That sounds like fun.
So
Yay.
can I still listen to this?
Absolutely. I want all the spirit boxes listening along the way. So let's go see what we can learn about this crazy park that we're about to go to.
What is this scary thing about it? Is it a word? Like, you got you yourself as a
So I don't look at this as being scary though. So when
well, interesting. Let's put it that way. What is the most interesting?
I look at that as a full case. So I guess we should kind of stop on that for a second. So let's come over here. So I get asked this question all the time. So the amount of things that I've been researching and investigating and whatnot, when I'm going to do my own investigation, I don't give a shit if it's nighttime or daytime. I don't always get permission to go investigate. So I have to run equipment through museums and the places that I want to dive into. The most interesting case I ever did was actually at the Flight 93 Memorial in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, the 9/11 crash. So when I go into these places, it's with the utmost respect. I went and paid my respects, just like you guys do, but I had a bunch of gear running in my bag. So I just had a small side satchel where everything's running, and I had some footage. So when I'm going through it, I also don't want to know the history up front. I do the exact opposite of what I'm doing for you tonight. I don't want to know. All I want to know is that something occurred there. You broke it? Yep, the only app there. So the next day when I'm going through because I go through the media, then do the research. I had names of the passengers come through in spirit boxes that I didn't know, that I found through spirit box work, and the word list. I actually had 2 word lists running because my autistic nephew was with me. I had him running one and me running one. One of them was completely Iraqi, the other one was completely American. And when I say Iraqi, I had the word Iraqi, attack. I mean, you name it. I mean, it's all up for speculation. You can see it on the website. But the other one was like co-pilot, flag, proud, pride. Like all of these things were coming up that were definitely American type terms, along with names of the passengers. And then the other one was all definitely very dark and from the terrorist side of things. The other piece of that is with the thermoimaging camera, the one that Sheryl was using. I had it running just in a coat pocket, and the little camera was just hanging out so nobody knows what I'm doing. And part of the footage actually shows a man looking over the site wearing a hat just like me, much bigger belly, there 1 second, gone the next. Not a piece of heat on that person, the entire piece of it. I actually was able to screenshot it so we can all see him overlooking the site. So, do I know exactly who it is? I don't. So the pictures that you find of those passengers are just headshots, so they're usually just from the neck up. So again, I did a lot of research afterwards just to make sure I had was pretty legit, but that is probably one of the most fullest things I think I've ever found, especially on that particular camera. But again, there 1 second, gone the next. Full shape. I mean, you could see it's like he's got his hands in his pockets and he's just overlooking the site. I mean, full hat, just like mine, belly, arms, the whole nine. It's all there. I do have on one of my tours, same camera, I have actually a person about this tall walking towards the camera. And the funny thing is, it was an 8-year-old girl using that camera that night, and I verified it with the camera that Sydney's using. No one there. The entire person completely blue.
Wow.
Can't make this shit up. Anyway, but yeah, I see this kind of stuff all the time. And if I had $1 for every time I did, I'd get asked that question.
Doing this, yeah.
So let's head over back to the Washington Park thing.
think there'll be more trash cans, so I prefer this one back away. That's alright.
What are you trying to throw in?
I have a cup in my pocket.
Depart where we're going. Yeah. Every time I'm down here, the whole side looks blank. One up there too. You guys come down here often?
I used to have it on, and then about 6-7 years ago, shortened everything back down. The economy was kind of bad at the time. It was kind of, we weren't staying here. Things were getting more expensive.
I have a coworker now.
That's what I had.
Oh, I guess what's nice for me is during the time of night that I work, there's nobody there.
Yeah.
So I don't have to rent anything for private. I have the whole office myself.
That's right.
Yeah.
They really, the only reason we needed anything was a little bit of storage and some paperwork.
Yeah. They gave me a filing cabinet. Like, my computer's already locked in the filing cabinet. So I dropped that off first and then go meet you guys.
I got a 29. Everybody's looking at the...
Yeah. I usually don't even bring it up because of that reason. Because again, it's the furthest walk we have.
That's what we could do tomorrow night, though, instead of going and paying the bill or something. Yeah, no, I'm good.
Remember, that's not roller coaster right now.
True, but I'm good.
When I was a kid in Ohio, that's what we did. Me and my buddies would go hang out in the cemetery, go riding our bikes through all the different stuff. Yeah. Well, that's what I do now. I walk through a lot of cemeteries, just reading and researching. I'm actually going to Philadelphia in August just to pay my respects to Eliza. I've talked about this woman for 4 years. Well, we're going to Pittsburgh to see my in-laws, but we're going to come by Philadelphia for a few days. You got anything on there? Anything come out of your camera back there?
No, it's the branches and things like that. It's hard, you know.
What I'm going to do, that's going to actually be one of the first stops I do on that 3 a.m. deal, but I'm going to do with Sydney's camera.
Okay.
It's much more discreet.
Maybe if I have more time to like sort of focus on the areas.
Yeah.
Because it's picking up the movement of the trees and, you know, and now I recognize it when you pointed it out. And they look like...
Yeah, these all... Now, the app is actually designed. I talked to the developer because I wanted to make sure like it was legit. So, it said it's always going to try to make something out of a person. So, kind of is the concept. It's always going to attempt to try to make something out of nothing.
like a person.
But what I did notice, if you turn the sensitivity way down, then you can obviously see where it's only going to pick up the straight lines from here to here to here, because they're 3 different dents.
Okay.
You see where I'm going? So I turned the sensitivity down to try to get rid of those fake people.
But that's what was weird about that post.
Yeah.
It felt like it was just a post, but there wasn't anybody's shadow, and there was no trees,
Right.
there was no moss in it. But
And what I may do with that one is I may go back and look at level investigations with that camera and just kind of review that same spot to see if it'll curve at the exact same shape.
Okay, yeah.
So that way I have a comparison.
Because you could see, you know, when the girls moved in or whatever, you see if that was there, or then it was like almost like combined. I don't know. It was different.
To find something in that particular cemetery would probably be more than likely from the thermal that they're using.
Oh, okay.
Just because it has all those depths, you know, all of the heat signatures, so we'd be able to see a blue person walking through all of the other heated stoneware that's on the ground.
Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, it's going to be cold. That's the way I have it set up, because it's the easiest color for you guys to get used to.
We're not digging holes, are we?
No, what?
That's what I...
Digging holes?
Digging a hole.
I'll tell you why. I can, but I can't.
So it comes to it, things like that.
Yeah.
And so, you know, they get to a certain point in the conversation, and Jack says, listen, let me call my dad. My dad is a pretty powerful guy. I bet he can help us with this. And so she's like, great. They can't wait. She goes down to Washington.
There's a treasure hunt part of this whole national thing. And I'm getting, because I've been doing this for a long time, and a lot of people email me all the time telling me that they think the treasures in this hunt. And lately, I've been getting terms from you guys. Digging a hole, find a treasure, find the box. Anything. No, we're very You're going to use it. Bill, anything else heard on the spirit box?
Marie Barnett. Bible. That's the other one. See y'all later. It already told me we're digging a hole.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
Alright, so here's how it's going to go down. Cindy, you're going to have a seat with her, because you're going to be kind of the assist.
Okay.
So, I don't leave people sitting alone in a dark park by themselves. Gotta get the point. In a nutshell, I'm going to give you a disposable blindfold.
Alrighty.
I don't want your eye boogers. You get to keep it. When you tear this open, it's 2-ply. So just rip up on the nose piece and it'll tear in half, so it just creates 2 loops over your ears. It does not go all the way around your head.
Okay.
The equipment I'm going to give you don't need to put on right away. We're going to go over there so I can tell them the history.
Okay.
If you're sitting here with noise canceling headphones and a blindfold on, again, it's not going to look good that I'm blindfolding my guests in the middle of the night. So don't put it on until we come back. I'm going to give you the noise canceling headphones as well, so you can kind of get used to how they move around. Because Sydney's going to help you put it on, after we get you blindfolded. So kind of get used to how that blindfold rips. So you guys are getting the gist of why we're doing this, right? So that way there's solid evidence of her not knowing anything. And there'll be a few tips and tricks when I come back of how to actually go about doing this. So Sydney, this is going to be your job. Once we get her blindfolded and the earbuds in her ears, you're going to put this over her head and then she's going to adjust it to where it's covering her ears, and you're also going to be controlling the volume of her spirit box. The reason why, I want to make sure she's not cheating. So we're going to cover that once we come back, but those are going to go to you. Do not put them on her yet.
So you tear like here?
Nope, up in the nose piece. So it's 2-ply. You just rip it here.
Okay.
And then there's a tear right there. All right, we'll be back in 5 minutes. All right, everybody, let's head over here. Let's go whisper. Let's go.
I'll keep listening. Maybe it'll give me clues. Here. I'm going to dig in a hole.
So welcome to Washington.
Well, I would like to know.
So if you've never been to the park, it is a chock full of story talking park. We're not going to go to them all. That would take us a lot of time. I'm going to share a couple. Very the big obelisk in the middle is dedicated to the Washington Lightning. Now over there, the one that kind of looks like a mausoleum, that was dedicated to a man named Gary on Beauregard that we already mentioned. So if y'all come back here during the day, there are mausoleums. They are all but I'm coming here to tell y'all about something real quick. It's one of the more twisted stories, so I can make it really accurate. I'm going to tell you guys about this party. Don't tell anybody in the but it's a new park. Now they are from Chicago. They come over here in the 1800s, similar to the 14th, full stamp that was. We just got to and you have mom's part and dad's part, and then you have and some of the pictures that all the some of them were like rolling with the left side face and off. Now they set up a little sort of homestead on the outskirts of the wall.
Eric. Axel. Eric. Axel.
Definitely keep an eye on your EMF detector. You have about in triple digits. So well over 100. All right, a couple of things. I'm only going to keep you under for 10 minutes.
Okay.
The reason why is because this can be very disorienting. So with you losing some of your senses, I'm going to also be keeping an eye on your breathing to make sure you're doing okay. So Sydney's going to sit here the entire time, and basically she's going to be, I'm going to basically call her your family member. So she's going to tap you on the shoulder if you're being too loud. You need to whisper. We can hear you. So most people, when they get those noise canceling on, they're shouting. We got neighbors right here. We want to keep it nice and low.
She'll probably have to tap me.
So she'll tap you on the shoulder if you're too loud. She'll tap you on the leg when it's time to take the noise canceling headphones off. You will take them off. So again, I don't touch any part of you. That's why I have somebody sit next to you. The other piece of this is if your breathing gets a little heavy, she'll tap you out. That's a leg tap, just so you know. It's not going to feel like 10 minutes to you, just so you know. And that'll probably be one of the first questions I ask you is, how are you feeling, and how long do you think you were under? So kind of keep tabs of that. Tell us whatever you're hearing. It could be a yes/no answer. If you hear some weird thing that you wouldn't expect on the radio, I want to know what it is. I'm not going to be writing any of this down so I can stay focused on real-time things. We're also going to huddle in really tight. The reason why, I don't want them to see I'm blindfolding my people in the middle of a dark park. So that way they can't see what's going on. We're also going to be filming from all angles, so you're going to know all of the things that are going on. Not to mention, you're going to need the audio piece for the history that I just told them. So this will be our last hurrah. This will be our last piece. Afterwards, while I'm collecting devices, I may send Mike on a quick round robin to see if he gets any kind of EMF. We have gotten triple digits out of this location, just so you guys know. So, are you ready to do this?
Yep. So do I put?
Yes.
Do I just stay in silence, or do I put?
Oh no.
these?
She's going to control your volume. So let me
Okay.
give you the hand signals for that. She's going to go like this for up, like turn it up. This is good. Turn it down. It's too loud. Kind of getting my point. So wait for the hand to, basically she's at a good level, and then we're going to keep the spirit box on your side, and you're not going to touch it whatsoever.
Okay. So.
I've had teenagers try to cheat at this, and it's way obvious.
That's
like
why
when they're cheating.
That's why I was like, who gets this? And
No.
Okay.
So blindfold first, then earbuds. Nope, earbuds.
if I get the blindfold and put it out. That's what I was trying to figure out.
Trust me, once you get it close to your ear, as long as it's just hanging on there, you can't see anything, we're good. Doesn't need to be perfect. There you go. Stand for the earbuds so she can put them in comfortably. Yeah, let's huddle in a little bit closer. Got the thing already. It's probably gonna have some wire. See? That's how this goes. Alright, so it is 11, we'll just say 11:21. So I'm going to usually give them a few seconds to get acclimated.
The volume thing is right there.
Yeah, it's the wheel. So obviously she can't hear us right now. Can you hear us?
Breathe.
Oh, she's already giving us words. Good. Alright, so we are looking to speak to Henry Timrod. Can you tell me something specific about you? Maybe what your occupation is to prove that you're here? I know I brought a large group with me, Henry. You gotta work with me here. I know you don't like a whole lot of people around. Can you tell us what your occupation was? Henry Timrod. This is Tia. She can hear you through the box with the red lights. You know how this works. We've been doing this for a few months now. Can you please tell us what your occupation was? Henry Timrod. Is there a church near us? Is there a church nearby? That was why we were here. That's St. Mark's. Henry Timrod. Oh, she's really struggling. Can you give her a little bit of volume? We're going to turn it that way, towards me. Just a hair. Henry Timrod, we're looking for some type of...
Concentration, headaches.
There we go. Thank you. Do you want to go straight into illnesses? Do you want to tell us how you died? Henry Timrod, can you tell us how you died? Amanda, you got anything coming over there?
Secret, but nothing in the...
Henry Timrod, we heard the phrase digging a hole earlier. Can you tell me what that's referring to?
$402.
Henry Timrod, give us the name of your wife. Can you tell us what your wife's name was? She's really struggling.
Deathbed.
You mentioned the word death. Can you tell us how you died?
Grave.
We want to know how you died. What disease did you have, unfortunately?
Fight. Blood pressure.
Blood pressure. You guys remember the name of the book I told you? It's the Blood Book. Thank you for the vague reference. Can you be a little bit more specific? Tell us more about how you died. What was the name of the disease? Obviously, Amanda, you're looking for the letters TB on your Ouija board.
What letter? TB.
For tuberculosis. Okay, Henry, let's go off to a question you normally give us the answers to. Can you tell me what sound we hear out of the church? This word has shown up through this at least 3 or 4 times. It's been spelled out on the Ouija board. It comes up all the time. Henry, what sound do we hear out of the church? It's been under for 5 minutes already. So far, this is unsuccessful, in case you guys are wondering where my brain is going. Henry, what sounds do we trying to keep things on a nice, even ground, respectable? Breathing's getting a little heavier. Is anybody else noticing that? She's okay. I'm just wondering what's going on in there. Henry, you got to give us something. You're normally not this quiet. The other group is left. They're gone. It's just us.
Nine two nine.
The number 9 comes up when we talk about your son's death. Can you tell us what his name is? Or maybe what month he passed away in? Was he only 9 months old when he passed away?
Generations.
Amanda, you got anything? Melissa, you hearing anything? Nothing? Henry Timrod, you're not giving us a whole lot of terms here. What do you want us to know? You've given me things in the past where I had to research it. What do you want to tell me to go research?
Charlotte.
What about Charlotte? Charlotte, North Carolina? Did you ever visit there? Is there something there that I need to know about? So now you went to school in Georgia. I'm going to give her one more term. If it's not relevant, we're going to call it. Is that fair to say? Well, she's already been under 8 minutes. Henry, we're going to call this short because it's not giving us much.
It says increase.
There it is, Henry. What sound is that? Here's your chance. What sound is this? What are we hearing right now?
Horses.
There's no horses around right now. Okay, Henry, I'm going to call it 3, 2, 1. Yeah, it's always a disorienting. Hey, put those earbuds out.
You did great.
I feel like I was way all over the place. I don't feel like there's any story that any of that.
You don't know what we were asking. So from my standpoint, completely unsuccessful.
I kind of figured so.
Well, again, I don't want you looking for things. So do you know how to stop that? So the very top button, just click it. I want to make sure we get the last.
Because it just feels very random.
It is, and it's supposed to feel very random. How long do you think you were under?
Probably 8 minutes.
Like closer to 9, 10 minutes. Like yeah. A lot of people will answer 2 to 3. Like it feels like it goes very fast for them. How do you feel? You okay? You seem okay. You did have a little heavy breathing going on there, like right in the middle with something going on.
There was like, I got that weird synthesized.
Okay.
It's not the normal static like that you get, and it kind of got in the middle, and then there was like, it got really, really fast.
Okay.
And there was other words coming through, but it was like I couldn't catch up. I couldn't keep up with what it was.
Yeah, because you weren't really giving us much.
What was valid.
Yeah. It's whatever words you hear. So,
yeah.
So here's how this is going to look tomorrow morning. So when I'm going through your recordings, I do separate what the Estes method was, like that's at the very bottom, and it'll just be all in the same recording. It'll say the last 10 minutes of your recording above. So that's what I caught out of it, so that way you can kind of see. I'm also still going to count this as unsuccessful because it's in real time. I might catch 15 things in that 10 minutes that are relevant to the person we were trying to get in contact with, but she didn't. So again, it doesn't count that way. I do rate every single investigation so we know how active it was. I would say that this is probably right at the lower end of average to just at the top of below average, just to kind of give you a base. And it's a scoring system that I created based on what I see on a 2 to 2.5 hour time frame every single night. So that way, in case you guys have a light night, you can go see what a more active night looks like in that particular month. So without anything going on here, Mike, is probably going to be irrelevant to have you walk. So we're just going to kind of collect things here where you guys ask me more questions. So if you have a video camera, feel free to stop it. And that way we can definitely get these things packed up. I definitely don't want Tia to get up and move around, because then she'll look like a newborn giraffe like most people do. And then she'll stumble, and then it's a liability issue. What questions do you guys have for me? You guys got why we did this whole experiment before? Okay. Because some people are like, why are we doing this? Why doesn't she know anything? I'm like, wait a minute, how do you not know what we're doing? So I figured I better stop and ask.
So she was making...
Wait.
I have something that says dry, and on this it says waters.
It says waters?
Yes.
Dry waters.
This said dry, this says waters.
That's interesting.
I agree.
But you have a full
Now
spelled
it
out
says
word.
Army. And it said Cooper.
Oh,
River?
Cooper River.
I don't know.
Where the peninsula is separated by the Cooper
Yep.
and the Ashley rivers. That's
Okay.
what makes it a peninsula. That's what's on either side of us. Which is funny because Melissa heard the name Ashley earlier,
Yeah.
and now you have Cooper. Cooper also is a barrel maker from the 1800s. So we had a lot of Coopers that lived on the East Bay Street area, down in that area. But again, we're quite a few blocks from that.
Ready for me to try
that
to?
makes sense.
Are we ready to try to call?
Going along.
It's a possibility.
That it might coincide with each
Right.
other.
And that's usually what I'm looking for. Is like, hey, did you get a spike to at least a 3 or 4? You know, did you get anything out of it? Because if it was a yes and we had a slightly successful here, I would have you take a hike and see what we got.
See if there's anything there.
See if anything else going on. But again, you can see I don't like to waste time if I don't feel like anything's going on.
Right, right.
So I'm going to actually take your camera first because it's the heaviest out of that. But yeah, I would say definitely overall, like, great job. I know we struggle with some of the spirit boxes and like how some of the tech works on some of these things, but I think once you guys see how it all looks overall, you're going to realize like why we use so many different types of devices to kind of see how it all coincides. That's the fun part of what I actually get to do. So I'm actually going to turn. It's not like I can set it in there. All right, I'll take yours. Oh, actually, yours both go in one pocket. Look at that.
So besides these tours, do people call you to investigate?
I actually get called to help other teams.
Okay.
In different types of ways. When I say other teams, I might go on an investigation with them, or they might come on one of these tours and I'll make it 4 hours for them so I can train their newbies on how to listen to a spirit box, how to look at a thermal imaging camera. You know, those kinds of things will pop up. So I've done that a handful of times. People love my scoring system. That's why I created a workbook out of it to see like how is this actually going to work out with other teams.